14 group from the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Our video will depict the functionalist and conflict theorist view on gender. Before we begin, we will be individually introducing ourselves as well as the role we will play in this video. To start, I am Amanda INDARJITH and I will be discussing the conflict theorist view on gender.
I am JONELLE REDDY and I will be discussing the views of gender according to socialists Charles Wright Mills and Max Weber, as well as I will further on explain the functionalist views of gender.
I am PRABASHNIE and I will be discussing the views of gender according to sociologists Karl Marx and Emile Durkheim. I will also be discussing the functionalist theorist view of gender.
I am JESMIKA and I will be discussing the critiques of the conflict theorist view on gender.
So Jonelle, what do you think about gender?
Weber's view on gender is that it is controlled and possessed by men. According to Weber, the household is male-controlled, rooted in force. Women are seen to be dominated by the patriarchy and their subjections to males. A male's role is found largely outside the confines of the home, being either a hunter, gatherer, or a warrior. And the role within the household is to establish their domination. The development of marriage, inheritance laws, religious ethics, as well as the growth of capitalists should all be male-enforced. Therefore, he sees a decline in the status of men and women through social division of power. As per Winkler 2009, Weber believed that women's status is being oppressed members of the male-controlled household. According to Knobloch 2008, gender seen using sociologist Charles Wright Mills' book, The Sociological Imagination is both a personal trouble and a public issue. Mills mentions unemployment, war, marriage, and life are examples where tension between personal trouble and public issues are apparent. Mills believes that men and women feel that their lives are a series of traps. He maintains that people are trapped because their visions and their powers are limited to their jobs and families. For example, women experience tension regarding their housekeeping responsibilities. Women feel they are trapped in the position and cannot get out, and although the victories of feminism have ensured that women are not restricted to being homemakers, they still believe it is their duty. Men, on the other hand, hold up the rights to being dominant ones. They believe that it is their duty to hold up high positions in the household, such as to work and earn the finance and provide for the family. But they are trapped in believing this aspect. So PRABASHNIE, since this is my view, what is your perspective about gender?
As per the writings of Giddens 2009, Karl Marx defined gender as the differences in power and status between men and women in the divisions of class. The power held by each gender group defined your status in society. During the capitalism era, men held the most amount of power and women held the least. Therefore, men acquired the highest status. Inequality between genders was seen by Karl Marx to have only started during the industrial capitalism. He outlined that men went to work and earned money for the household, while women stayed at home and took care of the children. During the economic capitalism time, women were seen to be dominated and oppressed, hence they held no power. Women were subjected to duties given to them by others. Therefore, Karl Marx viewed inequality between genders. The sociologist Durkheim viewed gender as men are a product of society while women are a product of nature. Women tend to be in positions where it is their natural and biological impulses. Natural positions such as domestic and aesthetic occupations and roles. whereas Durkheim sees men's mental capacities to be better developed. Females were put in natural positions such as housekeeping and growing the children, whereas men were left to obtain jobs and earn an income. Generally, females inherited roles biologically from their mothers to continue taking the roles of conducting chores and growing up the children. Durkheim ultimately arises as the conclusion of organic solidarity. This highlights that Durkheim defended any sort of gender inequality present between both genders. Organic solidarity ensures that seen through male and females have different qualities and abilities, they can still equally accomplish the task given to them.
According to the functionalist perspective on gender, the functionalist perspective is a broad social theory that sees society as a complex system whose parts work together to promote harmony and stability. This theory suggests that gender inequalities exist as an efficient way to create a division of labor, in which particular segments are responsible for certain respective acts of labor. The functionalist theory promotes a division of labor into restricted tasks and roles. A structured functionalist view of gender inequality applies the division of labor to view predefined gender roles as complementary. For example, women take care of the home while men provide for the family. While gender roles, according to the functionalist perspective, are beneficial in that they contribute to stable social relations, many argue that gender roles are biased and should not be upheld. Going forward, Amanda will discuss the conflict theorist's views on gender.
As Jonelle has previously stated, I will be discussing the conflict theorist view on gender. According to the conflict theory, society is defined by a struggle for dominance among social groups that compete for scarce resources. In the context of gender, conflict theory argues that gender is best understood as men attempting to maintain power and privilege to the detriment of women. Therefore, men can be seen as the dominant group and women as the subordinate group. While certain gender roles may have been appropriate in a hunter-gatherer society, conflict theorists argue that the only reason that these roles persist is because the dominant group naturally works to maintain their power and status. Conflict theorists presume that everything benefits the ruling class, which is men, making it clear that this theory centers on the exploitation of women. The conflict theory analyzes the relationship between men and women, which has specific interests and goals that strive to bring change. These differences in status, power, interests, and authority causes social conflict. So closely related to that is the idea of feminism. Feminism is really just a position that supports the equality for men and women. Although society has historically placed men in a position of power. Look at the home, for example. Men have been regarded typically as breadwinners, as the heads of the household, and in the monarchy of work, men have historically earned more money than women and have had more prestigious jobs. Friedrich Engels, a German sociologist, studied family structure and gender roles from a Marxist perspective. Engels suggested that the same owner-worker relationship seen in the labor force could also be seen in the household, with women assuming the role of the proletariat and the men of the bourgeoisie. This was due to women's dependence on men for the attainment of wages. Contemporary conflict theorists suggest that when women become wage earners, they gain power in the family structure and create more democratic arrangements in the home, although they may still carry a majority of the domestic burden. One's cultural background also plays a part in the conflict theory on gender, as many beliefs are that the men should pursue a career and make money, while the woman should not. But in saying this, if only the husband is working and the wife is said to take care of the household chores, she will eventually see her husband as an oppressive being, leading to her becoming tired and eventually to conflict in the home. In the working environment, men, for example, tend to be seen as more authoritative and women as more communal in orientation. Women are less likely to hold managerial or supervisory positions, and when they do, their positions carry less authority. Gender influences the ways that conflict is seen, felt, and understood by individuals and groups. Gender expands the way that we think about conflict, justice, and social change. As with other aspects of life, these views also have certain critiques, which will be discussed further by JESMIKA and PRABASHNIE.
With regards to what Amanda has discussed previously on conflict theory, I will now go on to discuss the critiques of this very theory. As noted through the New World Encyclopedia during the year 2013, the use of the conflict theory is used by persons, mainly feminists, who incline to elaborate on the position women occupy in society. Consequently, as a critique of the conflict theorist's view on gender, feminist conflict theorists arguably note that it is the men that tend to continuously oppress women, as in the case of the pictures behind me, so that in the process they are able to benefit financially to ensure their authority prevails and to be seen as status holders. As through Mills, he does not elaborate extensively on his views in relation to gender. However, as a critique on the view of gender, it becomes clear that problems in our society and environment are caused as a result of inequalities that persist in relation to gender, amidst others. Mills made it clear that people seem to be trapped as their vision and powers are limited to close-up scenes of jobs, family, and neighborhood. Women are seen to keep up to their household responsibilities. Karl Marx's view on gender is apprehended by members occupying positions in imbalanced occurrences in society. As in the case of gender, men and women occupy various roles in society, be it in the household, at work, or society. However, despite their freedom to do what they want, gender differences seem to be a major problem, as different groups have different interests, and this is due to their social problems. With regards to Weber's view on gender, his critique was that there is a male control factor instilled upon almost every home. Males, according to the Marxist feminists, are seen to be seen as the antagonist in societies. Furthermore, as part and parcel of Weber's critique on gender, we become aware that the development of marriage is known to be seen as the mother rights for women. As said by Gideons in the year 2009, Marx perceived the differences between gender, that is, between males and females, as through class divisions. Consequently, gender inequality has been established due to men working and women caring for the household.
Conflict theory has certain critiques, so does the functionalist theory. I will now be discussing these critiques. As said by the prominent Havelock Ellis 2003, men are perceived to be appreciated and accredited as much more intellectual as opposed to women, whilst being much more handicapped as well. Through this, we become aware of the fact that this is the reason for the establishment of role variations, hence making one comprehend to why women are seen as inequitably represented as compared to men. Due to the representation of women as inferior and men as superior, women are granted mainly the primary role of being tasked as a wife and as a mother. It has been perceived as through functionalists that the innumerable roles aimed the two genders, that being males and females, ascend from the need to safeguard an establishment of a division of labor. This division of labor aids with regards to upholding the smooth running of families and concurrently contributes towards the permanence of societies. Consequently, both boys and girls are brought about with teachings that exhibit dissimilar methodologies to life. As in the case of boys, they are instilled of teachings based on adequate instrumentality being those skills pertaining aspects such as having to focus on tasks, being goal-orientated, and lastly, being apprehensive to relationships established on the family outside.
My group and I would like to conclude by saying that gender plays a significant role amid functionalists and conflict theorists. Both functionalists and conflict theorists view gender in their own manner. However, despite this, their views overlap and join accordingly. Their perspectives both lead to various outcomes and assumptions and aid with the functioning of society as a whole.